The question here is, what are the x-intercepts of the graph of y equals 4x squared minus 2x minus 5? All right, so let me write that down. Y equals 4x squared minus 2x minus 5. See that if I were to graph this, it would be a parabola, and this is not an exact rendering, but it will be a parabola, something like this. So the question again is saying, what are the x-intercepts? The x-intercepts will be where the parabola passes the x-axis. So essentially at this point the y value is 0. So in order to find the x-intercept, I have to set the y value there equal to 0. So it's going to be 0 equals 4x squared minus 2x minus 5. And now if you remember, you have to factor this out, or if it doesn't factor out, you have to use the quadratic formula. And one big hint about this particular test SAT is look at the answer choices. See that plus or minus in there in that square root? That's a big clue that you're going to be using the quadratic formula for this particular problem. And this is a formula that you definitely want to memorize for this test. I'm telling you, at least 1 or 2 questions will require you to use this particular formula. So I'm writing it down over here. They're not going to give this one to you, so you definitely want to memorize this. So moving over here, this would be my A, this would be my B, and this would be C. And just to refresh your memory, the ax squared plus bx plus c, this is where the A, B, and the C's are coming from. And one thing I do like to do is keep a running tally of what my A, B, and C values are. So B is -2, C is -5. I'm just trying to make sure I avoid careless mistakes. And if you write it out like this, it makes it just a little more organized for yourself on a test day. Now let's just fill in my A, B, and C's for the quadratic formula. So it'll be -2 plus or minus B squared, which would be -2 squared, minus 4 times -5, all over 2 times 4. Stay organized, stay calm. This might look a little bit annoying, but just try to stay calm so you don't make any careless mistakes on the test. So the negative there cancels out. -2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So that'll be -16 over here. -16 times -5 will be +80. So that's what I'm going to have there. And all of this is going to be divided by 8. So if I move this over here, this would just be 2 plus or minus square root of 84, all of that divided by 8. Now see that square root of 84, you want to rationalize that or simplify it, and I'm going to do that right in this corner. So if I have square root of 84, I want to try to think of 2 numbers that go into 84, but where one of them is a perfect square. Square root of 21 times square root of 4. So square root of 21, you can't simplify that anymore, but square root of 4 is 2. So this is just the same thing as 2 root 21. So right over here, moving on over here, I'm going to replace that square root of 84 with 2 root 21, and all of that is being divided by 8. Now this whole thing is being divided by 8, so it's really 2 over 8 plus or minus 2 square root of 21 over 8. So now we'll just simplify that. 2 divided by 8 is just 1 over 4 plus or minus 2 divided by 8, you'll have 1 square root of 21 over 4, because that 2 and that 8 cancel out to leave you just 1 over 4. And then finally, since I have a common denominator, that'll just be the 4 there, and it'll just be 1 plus or minus square root of 21, making my final answer A, 1 plus or minus square root of 21 divided by 4.